Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. I'm sure others will join us as we move along. So welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight as we celebrate International Education Week, which happens every November, the week before Thanksgiving. And it's a time to really celebrate international education and cultural exchange. And my name is Carrie Toma. I am the International Programs Manager with International Student and Scholar Services, or ISSS. And we're really excited to be partnering with the King Library on this event tonight with our International Student Panel. And you'll get to meet the panel in just a few minutes. But first, there's some housekeeping items to remind you of. The first thing is this really fun, interactive online map that the library has set up. So I'm going to put it in the chat box. And we encourage all of you to click on that link and mark on the map where you're from. And I'm told you can add pictures and make it fun. And so we're interested in seeing where everyone is around the world. So go ahead and click on the link and you can add where you're from. Tonight, you can feel free to ask our panelists questions. Please use the Q&A box, which is on your toolbar at the bottom of your screen. So you can, at any time, put in a question there and we will get to your questions toward the end of the panel discussion. We are recording today's session and we do have closed captioning available. So also on your toolbar at the bottom, you notice a little box that says CC or closed caption. So if you click on that, you'll have the closed captioning available for you. And I think that's it. So we'll start off with some introductions. Again, I'm Carrie Toma. I'm the International Programs Manager with International Student and Scholar Services. I'm originally from Maui, Hawaii. I was born and raised in Hawaii. I did go to school at the University of Oregon. So I moved to what we call the mainland. I moved here to the mainland. And then I lived and worked in Japan for several years. And when I came back to the States, I decided Japan always had to be a part of my life. So I taught Japanese language and culture for many years at different institutions, anywhere from high school to community college to university level. And then I made a switch to international education. So my role is to really help international students achieve academic success. And I think part of the reason that brought me to this job was because when I lived in Japan, everybody was so nice and so welcoming and so helpful to me that I wanted to be able to extend that to our international students who are studying here in the US. So that's part of why I'm doing what I do. And I will like to turn it over to my colleague, Anamika, to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. Good evening or good morning for many of you. Thanks for joining us. I'm Anamika Megwalo. I'm the Assessment and Engineering Librarian here at Sjsu. So like many of you, I've been an international student for many years. I moved from India to Canada when I was in high school. And then from there, I moved to Guyana, South America for a while. And I worked there. And then I moved back to Canada. And then I did became an international student to the United States. And I did my master's and my doctoral degrees here. So it's, I love traveling. I love moving around. I just enjoy making memories, going everywhere I've been to. So it's I feel like it's wonderful to be visiting new countries and enjoying their culture. So, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you. So Annemiek and I will be facilitating tonight's panel, and we'll now ask the panelists to introduce themselves. So panelists, if you could please share a bit about your background, tell us your major, your year in school, country of origin, and where you're currently located. So if we could, we'll start with Song, please.
Hi everyone, my name is Haojin Song, and you can call me Song. I'm an international student from Beijing, China, and currently majoring in biology. A little bit background of myself, I studied in a community college in Seattle 3 years ago, and then I transferred to San Jose State after that. And this will be my last year in San Jose State University. And then my favorite thing to do is to help new students and answering some of their questions about school resources and helping them get to know the school better.
Great, thank you, Sok. And where are you currently located?
I'm currently at San Jose.
Okay. Close to campus. Yeah, all right, thank you. How about T?
Hey. Hi everyone, my name is T and I'm majoring in computer science. I'm an international student from Vietnam and this is my 3rd year at San Jose State. And I'm currently in Fremont. Thank you.
Not too far away from campus.
Yes.
Thank you. How about Kelly?
Hello, everyone. My name is Kelly, and I'm an international student from Korea, Seoul. And this is my first year as a transferring student from De Anza College. And I'm majoring in graphic design. And I'm currently in San Jose, which is really, really close to campus. And thank you all for joining.
Thank you. Li Chun?
Hi everyone, my name is Li Chungao. I'm a senior now. My major is computer science. I come from China and I'm currently in Boston. So the weather here is very different with California. It also snows in this month. So I guess I will experience the frozen this year.
Thank you. Stay warm.
Thank you.
Apoorva?
Hello everyone, I'm Apoorva. I'm an international freshman for the major Management Information Systems at Lucas College of Business at Sjsu. So I'm ethnically an Indian, but I grew up in South Native Vermont. So it's right in the Middle East, and I'm in a different time zone right now. It's currently 7 a.m. out here. So yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for getting up early and joining us. And today we also have an alum on our panel, Sadakat.
Thanks, Ray. Hello, everyone. And firstly, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you at San Jose State University. My name is Sadakat, and I'm from Mumbai, India. I'm a recent graduate, and I've completed my master's in mechanical engineering in May this year. And currently, I'm working at Apple in San Jose, and it's really nice to talk to you all.
He's living the Silicon Valley dream. That's great. So we'll move into our next question. And we'd like to know, why did you decide to study at a foreign university? And why did you end up choosing San Jose State? And I'm going to mix up the order a little bit, and we'll start with Kelly.
So since I was young, the reason why I choose to study abroad is because since I was young, I love speaking English. I love learning English. I think it's really pretty language. Yeah. And then that's why I started to learn English by watching Friends, if someone knows. It's pretty famous TV show. And so that's how I I always wanted to study abroad in America, to speak English and contact with more people. And the reason why I choose San Jose State is because as a major in graphic design, San Jose State offers a really nice program and also provides a lot of good connections and internships. So that's why I choose San Jose State.
Thank you. And so keeping a line with our newer students, Apurva, if you could share your reasons with us.
Sure. So I think just like Anamika mentioned before, I also love traveling. And also it has always, the idea of becoming independent has always resonated with my personality. So again, that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to study abroad. It's more like, childhood dream. So yes, that's one thing. And so I applied to 5 colleges at America specifically and got into all the 5 of them. And the reason why I specifically chose to study at San Jose State University is because it's the Silicon Valley, right? And also my major is a technical major, a business and technical major. So I feel like there could be no better place that could give me enough amount of exposure in terms of technicality, but also understanding people. So yes, that's the reason why I chose Sjsu.
Great, thank you. How about you, T?
Hi, well, the reason why I was interested in like studying abroad was that colleges in Vietnam are very business oriented. So and um, I am not cut out for to be a business major. And I already knew that I wanted to major in STEM or like CS in specific. So SJSU was one of my first choices because it's the Silicon Valley, but also because I have family here. So it makes the choice of choosing SJSU very easy. Yeah.
Thank you. Lee Chun?
So when I was in my middle school, I got 2 classmates that went to the high school in United States and Canada. So study abroad is not a very new idea to me, but I did think a lot of before I go to America. So before I made my decision to study abroad, I went to a university in China to experience the college life when I was in my high school, and I don't find that is a suitable education style for me. So I decided to study abroad, and I have relatives here who recommended San Jose State University for me, and I researched online, find this is a very famous school for its STEM majors. So to be honest, I don't have very clear picture at that time when I choose major. So I just followed the advice, choosing computer science, and decided to go to San Jose State University. And now I find it's a very good choice.
Great. I'm glad you're happy with your decision. Song?
Yeah, very similar to what Li Chen said about the education systems. I also love the United States education system of how the university work. I feel like studying in the US can help us to learn or explore what our true interests. Like the reason behind that is compared to the education system back in China, my home country, it's really hard to transfer major or change the major from different colleges, and so that you can't really explore what you truly like, and basically over there the major or like preset or it's already chosen for you, and it's really hard to transfer the major like if you are on the top of the classes, like 5%, only for that kind of student they can change the major. Unlike in the United States here, you basically can have like pre-major, it's like undecided, and you can choose a wide variety of classes and find the true interest. And the reason I found the SJSU, actually this is a very hard choice for me. I was a transfer student, so I was actually only focusing on the schools at Washington State because I'm from Seattle. And one time the college recruiter came to our school, SJSU, and I talked to the recruiter, and what he said like was very interesting, and I found that maybe I should explore more cultural diversity or more uh, interesting things in Silicon Valley, and then I decided to transfer to San Jose State.
Okay, thank you. And Sadakat?
Yeah, I definitely agree with everyone. For studying abroad is for me meant better infrastructure, better resources, and getting to work with the latest technology. Me personally, I was very enthusiastic and wanted to get into robotics. So I choose courses that way. I was able to choose courses in such a way at San Jose State University that I got good experience, and I was able to work with some robots as well. And that experience definitely helping me now at Apple when I'm testing different products. So yeah, that definitely for me coming to the US was a good chance for me to learn a lot. And I don't get the same or the similar kind of resources back in India, and that's why I decided to just come here. And San Jose State University is sort of like everyone said, in the heart of Silicon Valley. That's where all the tech companies are, and that's where you get the most opportunities. So that's why I chose to go with San Jose State University. And plus, San Jose's weather is very similar to how the weather back home in India for me. I love the climate here. It's not too cool, not too hot. So yeah, it all worked out for me in the end.
Great, thank you. And you did your undergraduate work in India?
I did my undergrad in India, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So thanks so much for sharing about, why you decided to study abroad in the US and why you chose San Jose State. The next question is about cultural differences. When you arrived in the US, what did you find culturally different? Can you give us some examples of how you adjusted to your different environment? And this time we'll open it up to any of the panelists to share if anyone has any thoughts on this question.
I can go first. I feel like definitely the culture difference is most important. Sometimes a huge barrier for international students to explore the education or the culture here at the United States. And one of the examples from mine is it's very subtle, and I also just noticed recently because I joined a program called Global Connections, and I just learned this week, and I haven't noticed this before. It's about the cultural differences. So when I was in a homestay program, when I was in high school, uh, I was talking to my host, and so in case not everybody knows what a homestay program is, it's a international student stays in an American family to learn and to live in the family, similar to that. And so in that family, I would always have a hard time talking to the host or sharing ideas, joining their conversations. In a group of 3 or more, like when their friends show up, so we have a conversation of 3 or more. I'm doing totally fine with like one-on-one, but giving me a hard time with like 3 of us. I always thought that was like my introvert identity, and like maybe I'm bad at English, like language barrier. But after I joined the recent program, and I realized it's not really a language barrier. It's actually a cultural difference between 2 identities. So in that program, I learned that for most Asian cultures, we tend to like to have a gap between the 2 conversations. So we like to have a pause, listen to others people saying, and then reply. But for most of the American cultures, they tend to like having conversation right after they said a thing, or so that in that way, for me, it was really hard to jump in or chime into the conversation. I always stay like the whole conversation, like maybe half an hour being silence because I don't know when to jump into the question. And that really gave me a hard time. And I think that's, I'm not sure if everyone experienced that, but that's a truly a cultural difference. And yeah, that's very simple, subtle, but a very huge difference here.
Yeah, I agree. The two different communication styles, right? Where if people, somebody starts saying something and somebody else jumps in, then that's showing excitement. And so they keep talking kind of over each other. But if you're the kind of person that pauses and likes to wait till one person finishes speaking and you have time to think and then you respond, it's really difficult because when do you find those pauses? You don't, right? So
yeah, totally.
That can be challenging, sure. How about everyone else? Have you experienced something similar or another challenge with culture?
I can go. I definitely agree with Song. I had a lot of language barriers and also communication conflicts. But then other than that, when I first arrived to US, there were a lot of culture shocks and differences I had, and most of them were hilarious, such as I remember I was waiting for the crosswalk to signal, but then I thought it was automatically turned to green light, just like in Korea, but then I waited and waited, and then I saw there was a button that we need to push on for the crosswalk. So that was really hilarious example for me, I can remember. And for the academical culture differences I can think of right now would be definitely writing an email. It's, I believe in America and especially in academic purposes, they really use a lot of emails, and it's really important to learn how to write polite emails and ask for help on email. Personally, I believe in Korea, where I'm from, don't really use a lot of emails. They use like text messages and school websites. But then when I first came here, I realized they use a lot of emails. So I had a hard time to write grammarly perfect emails and getting really politely. But I was able to learn a lot from other workshops, and keep writing make me perfect to write an email. So that was the culture difference I had in academic, and then it was kind of big for me. And then now I kind of learn how to improve emails and how to fit into those academic culture.
That's great, Kelly. Thank you for sharing that. We do collaborate with the Writing Center. So for example, in the fall, we usually work with them to do a workshop on email netiquette. So, if you're worried about how to approach a professor through email, there are lots of resources on campus to help with that. Anamika?
Let me unmute myself. So my question is, how has the shift to mostly online learning have been for you? Tell us a bit about the experience and share any tips you have for being successful in online learning. So what has been your experience? So I'll just open the floor to any of the panelists if you want to talk about it. Sjsu, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so for the online classes, I believe this semester is better than the last semester. Like, because for the last semester, I had one professor, like, he refused to use technology, so the class just over from the day its campus closed. And all the other classes last semester, we don't turn on the camera, so it is really hard to focus. But this semester, professors, they are more familiar with the online instruction and everything goes well. But I began to miss campus life and the in-person mode instruction. I think I have a tip to be focused. That is turn on the camera, because with the camera, it limits you from playing your phones or sleeping. So it will push you to focus. And that really works for me.
That's a great tip. Thank you. Apurva, do you want to share your experience?
Sure. So I think since I'm a freshman, this is my first semester, and everything has been like so unfamiliar altogether since everything started online, and I found it kind of challenging at start. For example, SJSU, most of the professors use Canvas for delegating work or tasks or homeworks. It took me like around a month to familiarize myself with Canvas or the library resources and other resources provided by SJSU. But I felt like, the one tip I would give in order to do well with online learning altogether is reach out for help if you don't know what to do. I think that has been one of the major things that has helped me out. And time management, of course, like Google Calendar is my best friend right now. With the time difference, I mean, it's easier to lose track of things since everything is online. Because if it is in person, you will have friends to remind you certain things, or you remember better. But I think, since everything's online, it's very important that we stay on track, be focused, but also like while using relevant technological tools to help you or assist you throughout the process.
Thank you. Thank you. You said you always ask for help. So who did you reach out to? Would you like to share some of the resources if they're applicable to everyone?
Sure. So I think, at the very start, I had a very bad inhibition that, maybe I should reach out for help or whatsoever it was. And so I don't know if Carrie remembers this, but like one of the first people I ever met at SJSU was Carrie. I also remember talking to Song, and I guess Sadakat was also there in the meeting. And so, yeah, so that's how it started. So I guess attending the meetings or the Global Connection webinars conducted by them kind of made me feel comfortable, and I was further, able to contact other people, professors, and I also tend to attend a lot of workshops, and so that has helped me connect with people as well. So yes.
Great, thank you. Anyone else wants to share? Perhaps Thea, would you like to share your thoughts?
Oh, yes. So I think one of the hardest challenges I have with online learning is that I'm very confined to my room all day. So it does get exhausted because you're not getting out, you're not getting the sun. And then, you have your bed, my bed right there. So it's very tempting to take a nap. So, and, I think one of the good ways is just to get up and walk around for a few minutes every once in a while, just so that you get that little bit surge of energy, and remember to drink your water. That's about it.
Great, thank you. Carrie?
And T is actually working on some global leader chat that will offer in the spring, kind of focusing on tips from students about online learning. So be on the lookout for that in spring as well. So the next question is, we're in this online environment, and how have you been able, especially Kelly and Aburva, because you're new, how have you been able to make friends or connect with other students at SJSU? What has the experience been like? And if you could share maybe some of the challenges or any tips you have that would help people make connections with other people. And Sadakat, we would also value your opinion as a graduate student here. How did you make those connections? So if anyone would like to start?
I could go first. So as I said, like I'm from a new country. A lot of people from my country do not go to United States of America specifically. So I feel like, the way it started was very isolated. I didn't have a lot of people to talk to, not a lot of freshmen who were coming from outside. And again, the pandemic situation is difficult for everyone. So it was very challenging, to be very honest. But I feel like, once anyone or everyone gets through the initial hesitation of reaching out to people, things get comfortable. And so I guess probably a couple of weeks later, after our academic started back in August, I joined clubs. So that's like one of the best ways to connect with the community. So I'm an MIS major, so I joined, there's a club called MISA, which is specifically for MIS majors and other majors as well. But it's mainly run by the MIS major students. So I was able to connect with lots and lots of seniors, juniors, and other students from my department, which was very valuable. And once I entered another club, it's like a chain reaction. You just keep reaching out and join new clubs. So right now I did that, and luckily I also joined this club called as Global Developer Student Club, and which is very ambitious of me, but like I applied for a position of an officer barrier for community outreach, and I got that. And since the post is for community outreach, it's like meeting more people and getting a chance to naturally network because that's your job title. So I think, again, as I said, it's a chain reaction. Like one leads to another, just keeps moving. So yeah. And one of my good friends out here is the learning assistant at my communication class. So yeah.
That's great. Thank you. Kelly, do you want to share?
Sure. I really appreciate this question because personally, I'm having the best experience. Even though it's online, I've been able to make a lot of connections and make friends. There were a lot of events and workshops that San Jose State provides. I was really surprised, to be honest. As of course, the first year of semester, I didn't have any friends or other people to connect. But then I saw a lot of events through school websites and also social media, which is really important. You can also check on it. I think the first event I participated was the Thursday Tea Time, which was every Thursday event. That's how I met Carrie and Song. And that it was really chill event. Even though I was alone, they were really welcoming. And then from that, I get like confidence, and then I was able to reach for clubs and events. And then the school is really active, sending an email saying there is this event, especially for Weeks of Welcome and all those really fun events. I did Among Us, which is, I think probably all of you knows, and then all of trivia games and all those great also meeting professors and also other peers by different events. I should be busy. I should get busy with the courses, my classes, but then I've been busy participating in all those events in San Jose State. It was really fun, really. I did Among Us, and I did a lot of connection with other people. So I really appreciate for all those different events that San Jose State has. I think that's how I met a lot of connections and all those friends. We keep chatting on Discord and also other social media. I was also shy and don't wanted to like make connections first because it's my first year. But then they were really welcoming and they're really open-minded, especially if you go to Instagram and search Sjsu, you can see every different clubs and events you can join. So that's how I get connected with other people as well. And there's also Sami Ab. I really recommend. I was able to search more events and workshops there. So for me, I was able to meet a lot of good people and good connections through, even though it's online. It's been really great.
I'm glad. I'm so glad to hear that both of you have been making connections, because it's hard enough to be new, but then to be new and be completely virtual is really challenging. So that's great to hear. Sadakat, do you have any advice for graduate students?
I was just in the last couple of months of my degree, that's when the pandemic started, and don't have much experience, but yeah, I can say that it was challenging at first. It was kind of hard, and I remember we used to stay in touch through messaging and through social media platforms, as Kelly mentioned. That really helped a lot, and in meeting new people. If you remember, Kerry, I was still working with ISSS as global leader, and we were able to, get through some events together. And I was fortunate enough to meet new people and talk to a lot of people. So that was a good experience for me. It was kind of a refreshing experience for me at the time because I was really tensed with my last semester and really worked up, and meeting new people, talking to new people during our events, it really helped me out, like just calm me down and relax. So that's the most I have from that experience.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Mhm.
All right, so we'll move on we've been talking about connections and social connections, but what kind of campus resources have you guys connected with? I know that I have not been on campus since March, but that doesn't mean that the resources aren't open and available. There's a lot available online. What campus resources have you found most helpful since we've kind of shifted to this online or hybrid environment?
Can I go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. I think, one of the most useful resources altogether has to be peer connections, because I feel like, a lot of times since it's online, so there are chances that you might be studying a course or something and you find something very challenging, but it's amazing how your fellow peers can, help you out with the challenges that you're facing. So that's one thing I would definitely recommend. And second of all, I have two English related classes this semester. So one of them is for the writing and the other one is for communication. So library resources has been pretty useful for me in that regard, in terms of, searching for papers or articles, because if I directly go on Google and search, there are like a million results, and most of the times they might not be relevant to what I'm searching. But since I learned how to use the library resources, I guess the past month, and it's been very, very helpful.
Great, and we'll talk more about all the great resources that the library has. But Li Chun, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, actually, I am so appreciate for the online mode because my experience might be very unique. I don't have a car. Like I used to take VTA to school or couple with others, so I rarely go to any events before because it's really inconvenient to me. But now, since everything is online, I can join every event I want. For computer science department, I really recommend students to go to the CS talk. It will invite many professional people in different computer fields. It is a very good way to learn from others' experience, and also you can make connection with them on LinkedIn. And like this event is also very helpful, and I cannot participate it. So I feel really good about the online mode.
That's a great point. There's more accessibility, right? Because you can join from anywhere. Thank you.
Could I add something?
Yeah, sure.
Really quick. Yeah, I just want to add to what Aburva said, that yeah, SJSU library was a very helpful resource. As a graduate student in my last semester, everything moving online, it was difficult. I had to finish my master's project. So the only way I could do that was using the SJSU library resource, which helped me through a lot of papers and articles and different publishers and stuff like that. So yeah, SSU library was a very good resource for me. And another thing is, wait, what was it? Yeah, like speaking to professors. That's what. Yeah, I was constantly in touch with the professors, talking to them and getting my reports in. getting reviews and feedback from them. And then whatever feedback they had, I used to take my reports to the writing center. And the writing center used to help me out on how I can frame my report, on how I can format it, and sort of just catch something that I've missed. And the writing center was helpful too to finish up my master's project report. So yeah, these two resources were quite helpful for me the last couple of months.
Great, thank you. And I think that ties in well with our next question.
Right. So a couple of you have shared your experience with the SJSU library. I wanted to ask whether you if anybody else wants to share their experience with the library. If you haven't used SJSU library, it's fine. You could share your experience with any other libraries you have used prior, outside of university library.
I can go first with
Sure.
this. So I first know the library resources. Actually, it was in my first year for the communication 20 class. We had a specific library session to introduce us like how to use the online system to download the scholar papers. But after that, although I usually went to library, I rarely used the resources. It was actually in my junior year, I got some coursework that related to the library resources. So I connected with the librarian who helps computer science students to find things they want. And that was Mrs. Megwalu. And I was so appreciated for the things I learned from you. And the one of the best things to communicate with SJSU librarian for your own major, I absolutely recommended every student to do that, to connect with your own librarian, especially for international students, because most of us, as for me, I never touched any research experience before I went to college. So a librarian not really helps you to find the reference. They can give you many new ideas about your paper. They are so professional, and some of them may graduate from the same major with you. Just like Mrs. Megwalu, we have shared the same major, so she can always give me many experience and advice for me, especially on some major things. Yeah, so just do it. Go ahead.
That's a great advice. Yeah. All the librarians are very experienced in doing research, and that's certainly a recommendation. Yes. Anyone else who would like to share?
I would like to share. Oh, sorry. I totally agree with Li Chen. The library resources definitely helped me to find different articles and journals. For my classes, I needed to write the research paper and essays, and then as an international student, I wasn't familiar on how to find the relevant articles and journals. It was my first time. And when I was searching, I saw there was a tab saying Ask a Librarian. And then it's alive, I think. So if you ask them, they will come to you, and then they will welcoming you, and they will answer your questions right away, which I was really surprised. Personally, I didn't really believe those kind of system, because I thought it was just a robot just asking me just general questions. But definitely the real professional librarian came in, and then she was so helpful, and then she just got me an email, and then even though my chat was over, she emailed me and saying, are you done? I still have more resources you can add. And it was really helpful. I was able to complete all of my articles in a short time, which I was really, it was a great experience to have. So I definitely recommend you guys to go into the library website. And if you don't know what to do, just ask a librarian. They're really professional and they're really nice. So I got a lot of advice, and now I know how to search relevant articles based on my topic. So it was really nice experience.
That's great. Song, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I already heard a lot of great things. I think I can add something like in person in the library. Like, for example, some of the equipment checkout is available in the library. and we can always check out laptops or all the electronics that we need to use for classes. And we sometimes can check out for a week, and that's sometimes it's very helpful when I first got here with like no laptop at the beginning. And beside that, the library also have the perfect studying room. Like for example, now I'm studying at home, and I found that my productivity actually dropped a lot because I used to like enjoy studying in the library and the perfect silence floor, like 7th floor or 8th floor, and I always can study quietly and very productive in the library. And something to add on the journal articles. I feel like one thing I can add over there is like maybe sometimes you cannot find some of the journals in our school, like CSU San Jose, but because of the CSU system are shared, and I think the library is also shared, so we can always order different scripts or journal articles from other schools. So it's kind of a cross library thing. Yeah.
Great. So how have you found these libraries in the United States different from your home country? Have you ever used the library system in your home country? What was surprising when you came here and heard about the library and started learning about the library?
I can go first on that. So, like, I never knew that we have online libraries. Like, it's absolutely a new thing to me. So, like, back here, so I love libraries, but I've never used it for academic purposes, or it's always, for having fun, like reading fun books and stuff like that. But once I've joined SJSU, I think, the idea of online library, it makes everything so easily accessible, because in my mind till now, or before I joined SJSU, the idea of libraries was just to like, oh, pick out a book that you want to read and read for some time, keep it back, go back. But now I feel like, it's more academically oriented, and it's better if you learn how to use it as an online resource. But again, yes, just as you mentioned, I never knew that such a thing could exist as such as an online library. So yeah.
Yes, definitely. Most of the resources in the library are accessible online, right? And librarians are always available to help you at any time. Connecting with your subject librarian is one of the great ways. Yeah, definitely. Kelly, would you like to add anything to it? Kelly?
Oh, sorry. Sure. I believe, just like Ababa said, I definitely agree with her. I didn't know the library can help us to find the articles and all those journals, and really helpful for our academic purpose. In my country, I always went there to read comic books, and just to stay there and just study by myself. But then definitely helps me to find more resources for my courses, and also and I believe the King Library is also the local library, but as well the school library, San Jose State Library. So I think that's why it's really big, which I love, and really big to have more resources that we can look for, and really diverse categories that we can search. So I love the diversity and the choices that we have. There's so many good there's so many good categories that we can also search. So I definitely was really amazed by the King Library versus my hometown library.
Mm-hmm. Great, thank you. And one of the things I wanted to mention is before you go and purchase a book or purchase a textbook or looking for another supplemental book, you should definitely contact your librarian, because there are resources we have like course reserves. We also have databases for ebooks, which you might not be able to know unless you speak to a librarian. So that's definitely a great resource. Yes. Thank you. Carrie, would you like to?
Yeah, and I also just put in the chat a link to Canopy, which is another great resource provided by the library. They have all kinds of films, a lot of international films there. So that's where I go to watch Japanese movies. So another great resource from the library. All right, so moving on to our next question. What do you miss most about being in a foreign country, and how do you cope with it? T, would you like to start? Or I'm sorry, well, let's do T and then Li Chun.
Okay, so I definitely, like, compared to the US, I really do miss like the slower pace that people have in Vietnam. So usually, like, people start their day very slowly. You know, you wake up, you go for a walk, and then you come back for coffee and breakfast before you go to you go to work, and then once you're off work, you're going out with friends, even though it's the weekday. So it's it's very carefree, it's very laid back. Here is much more faster than that. So after 2 years, a little bit more over 2 years here, I found a way to kind of balance it. Just I'm also hustling, but also finding the time to, like, for self-care, and then that's just that sweet balance.
Yeah, that's great. Do you have any suggestions of what people can do for self-care?
Definitely get off the screen, because we're looking at the screen so much now. I always like reading a book or switching to cooking. It's always nice to. I remember the start before the lockdown, everyone started baking, and it was always, it was so exciting to see, like, everyone's cookies and pies. Oh,
That's great. Thank you, T. Li Chun?
Yeah, so I come from the city in China, which is really famous for its food. And I am also a big fan of boba, but I have to say the boba here is not that good. So I miss the food and boba when I come to here, and I cannot overcome it. But I am too busy this semester, so I almost just forget them. And of course, I will miss home, got homesick, but luckily I have strong ability to adjust my emotion. And if I feel too homesick, I will just call my parents, especially call my mom. And I'm so appreciate that she always wants to listen to me. We'll talk about all the things like fashion idols and all the things, but she also loves talking about study, just like all the other Asian parents. Every time I hear that, have you prepared for a test? Have you done your homework? My homesick just disappear. I don't want to listen to her anymore. Yeah, that's how I cope with my miss for home.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, I call it the 3F. I miss the food, the friends, and the family back home. But yeah, it's been a while. It's been a little more than 2 years for me now here. So food, I started cooking myself, and now I really enjoy cooking. I try a lot of different stuff, new stuff, and it's therapeutic for me at times. So food I don't miss as much now. And friends, I met a lot of friends here, and met a lot of new people, and it's nice to have them here. People from our age group, and you get to hang out with different people from different backgrounds as well. So that's fun too. And family, oh, I can't replace family. I cannot replace that. But yeah, apart from that, it's all good.
Great. Thank you. What advice do you guys have for other international students so that they can be successful here at San Jose State? And we'll give you guys a chance to think about who wants to respond first. And I'll encourage our participants, our attendees to, if you have questions, to please put it in the Q&A box and we will get to them shortly. But let's go back to the advice question. Does anyone have advice they would give new international students?
Yeah, I have an advice. That I find so many students, especially the students around me, when they meet problems, they always try to ask friends or ask in the group chats on the social media. They just don't ask the official departments. I'm confused with that. So I need to let them know that if you have any issue, just try to email the International Student Office or your department office directly. They will solve it to you, give you the direct answer, or just direct you to the right person to ask. I think that should be a useful tip, maybe.
I think that's a very useful tip because ISSS often gets international students who say, my friend told me this, which might be okay for the friend situation, but your situation might be different. So definitely follow up with the correct department directly. T, were you going to say something?
Oh, yes. So I just want to say that, the only advice I have is reach out for help because there are a lot of resources to help you at SJSU. Specifically, if you're, this is kind of very distressing time for everyone. I would really recommend the counseling center, the Counseling and Psychology Services Center, CAPS. If you feel like you need to talk to someone about your worries, about your homesick, it's always nice. And, ISSS is always here with Thursday tea time as well. So if you want to come in and share.
That's great. Thank you. Anyone else? Advice?
I would like to advise. Just like I mentioned, I met great connections through a lot of different events and workshops. And I really like to find entertainment and really fun events to relieve some stress from academic courses. And I definitely recommend to use SAMI apps. They have also international student categories as well. So you can, SAMI app is really good because if you go in, you can look for every events, weekly events, and that particular day and tomorrow. And then you can also register and make an appointment for that event. So it will automatically let you know that the event will start in 1 hour or half minutes later. They have so many things like listening to jazz music and also counseling appointments. And I think they're so useful workshops and events there. I attended a lot of useful workshops such as how to write a polite emails and also how to write a PowerPoint, which is really visual attraction. And yeah, I would definitely don't hesitate, and you're not alone. I totally understand you guys because since my first semester, I don't have anyone, but Samia really helped me, and also especially social media, Instagram. So if you search SJSU, you can see so many information. It feels like I'm promoting something, but I'm not. I just really wanted to suggest you guys. It was really nice. If I'm bored, I keep searching the different clubs and events that I can join. It's really nice.
Thank you, Kelly. Okay, Anamika?
Thank you, Carrie. My question is, what can SJSU do to support the international students? So many of you had great experience with many of the services in the university. If you were to suggest SJSU for a service that either exists but can be improved, can be modified, or a new service that can help you or help other international students, what would that be? So I'll just open up the floor. I don't want to put anyone on the spot, so you can just jump in.
Well, I think SJSU does really good job for international students because I know the International Student Office has many events and especially cultural events. I participate in some and they are good. So maybe the only suggestion is for this particular time, like give international students, especially the freshmen, more instruction about how to choose courses, how to choose classes, because I received many queries about how to choose class and about the general education from many freshmen and transfers. So that's maybe the only suggestion.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Li Chun.
Anyone else who would like to share? Any thoughts of improvement? What do you enjoy most about SJSU and why? Kelly, would you like to say something?
Sure. I really appreciate San Jose State because it also focuses our academic purposes and our pathways. The counseling is really strong to help us and really dedicated to help us. But also they're really focusing on how to make connections and also how to be relaxing in one way, because we are all having faced pandemic stuff. I think I can really feel the school is also providing a lot of surveys and events for all the students can participate and also input their questions, concerns, counseling questions, and all like that. So I really appreciate that. And since I've been mentioning a lot of events and workshops, some of my friends from other schools, I asked them, and then they don't have enough like workshops, events to meet other connections and people. So I thought San Jose State is really the best to make things really smooth and provides a lot of resources and be helpful, especially to international students and also students as well. So that's why I really appreciate the system. And yeah, I really appreciate it.
Song and Sadakat, since you have been in the university for quite some time, would you like to talk about what you enjoyed and why?
I definitely enjoyed the events, and I remember asking Carrie after I graduated that if there are any more events that I could possibly be a part of. If she needs help with anything, if she needs me for anything, then yeah, let me know. And I'm glad she reached out to me for this event. And yeah, events like these where you get to meet and talk to a lot of people from different backgrounds. It's refreshing for me. It's nice to know people and what it's like in their country and talking to them. It's just a great experience for me. I'm coming from India. I don't get to see a lot of international students or like people from different countries, but SJSU has a lot of international students, and that sort of comforts you in a way that you see a lot of international students and you can talk to everyone. They're mostly kind of in a similar situation, a little shy in the beginning, and they're looking for help. And yeah, getting the resources. I didn't even know we had so many resources. I wasn't even aware of half the resources that our university had. But once I knew, I was really glad and happy to have joined HCSU, and especially work with different departments and work at different events again, greeting people, meeting with people, talking to them, and being part of different activities, movie nights, and games, and just like social events, which can also happen now in like online environment. But yeah, I definitely enjoy that a lot. And I hope to continue to be part of future events if there are any international student events, and I would love to continue to be a part of it.
That's great.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you continue to be a part of it. And part of what we're doing is trying to build community, right? Not just with current international students, but our alumni as well. So love to see that continue to grow.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Carrie?
Song, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Not a lot, but one more thing is probably the diversity, the cultural diversity is great at San Jose State. Like basically our identity as international students is like just students. There is no difference between international students or regular local students. Basically, we are all students, and nobody at class or the students are considering you different or like you are not our school students or like just same as our regular students, and nobody asks where you're from. And it's just I love and enjoy the feeling of that as well.
Great, thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. So I think we're, unless Anamika has any other questions she wants to ask, or if any of our participants would like to, or attendees would like to put in a question, can feel free to do so in the Q&A. But panelists,
yeah, go ahead. I just wanted to ask a fun question. What do you do during your free or spare time? Anyone?
So I can go first. I guess I spend majority of my time since quarantine started. I spend majority of my time watching K-dramas. I know it's very cringy, but I just have watched so many of them. I watched around 73 dramas. At this point, I can start speaking Korean. Like that's how much I watched. So that's something that's like a go-to thing for stress busting. I highly recommend it. If anyone wants any sort of recommendations, reach out. I'll give you a whole list of dramas that you should watch for sure.
You need to connect with Kelly.
I can go. For my free time, I'm a huge movie fan, so I've been binge watching Friends again and Big Bang Theory and all those Grey's Anatomies and all those great TV shows. And I also do some hike, but I believe we still need to stay at home to be safe. So I spare some time to watch movies and play Among Us. If you guys want to play Among Us, please join some other events. Yeah, I think I pretty much do a lot of entertainment stuff to release my stress and from the courses.
Great.
Okay, I can go with this. So I watched many videos, including watch others playing Among Us. I'm really a bad game player, so I love watching other playing games. And I watched many Japanese dramas. Yeah, not K-drama, but J-drama. Yeah,
Nice.
And that's how I spend my leisure time. But I guess I don't have any leisure time this semester. That was too busy. And for next semester, I'm planning to learn some new language when I have free time. That's my
great.
plan.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing. And Lishan, even though she misses her family back home, she is brave enough to apply for a PhD program and stay here for a few more years. That's just inspirational. That's amazing. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Okay, so before we close tonight, panelists, do you have any last words that you want to share? The floor is yours.
I don't have anything to say, but thank you for inviting me. I'm so glad to get a chance to share what I have, what I experienced in the US, and I like to share my advices. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I would say thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for inviting me as well. Just like Song, it was really nice to share my experience as a first semester student. And even though this is my first semester, I hope my advice and tips will be helpful to all of you guys, and I hope I can get across with you guys in the future too.
Thank you, Kelly. Okay, Sadakat, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just want to say that I'm definitely glad to be a part of this panel and to meet everyone else on the panel and to welcome other students who are joining SJSU, who are part of SJSU. And yeah, I hope to be part of future events as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining. I hope, I wish you all the best for the rest of the semester, and also if this is not your last semester, for next year as well. And yes, it was great chatting with you. It's wonderful. You'll be helping a lot of students.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And there's an opportunity in the chat to join another event that is hosted by the library tomorrow night. It's Global Trivia Night. It's going to be a lot of fun. So there's the link there. And thank you again for being here. Thank you to our panelists and to our wonderful friends at the library who helped put this panel together tonight. So thank you all. Take care, and we hope to see you at another event soon. Happy International Education Week.